Yeah, Michael, and I suppose on to Wigan, they're a side that are at the wrong end of the table. Do you think they're in a false position now?
It's difficult to tell, really. I mean, obviously, they haven't been, well, from what I can remember, and certainly recent results, they haven't been murdered in any of the games. You know what I mean? They've always been in the games. The games that they've lost have been close games, the majority of them. In terms of pole position, you know, it's difficult. I mean, obviously, you can look at the start of the season and the players that they had around, and on paper, it looks a good squad, a strong squad. But with obviously the troubles that they've got going on at the football club, it can't be easy. Obviously, they've had various managers and people around who's taken the teams. So again, they're difficult, and I've been in that situation before. It's not easy. You know, day to day, you don't really know what's going to go on and what's happening at the football club. You know, whether the takeovers are happen, who's in charge, the information you're receiving as a manager, you don't know who you're receiving it from. So, you know, I feel for them as a football club, but ultimately, you know, I've got to stay professional and just make sure that we try and do our utmost to win the game.
Last week, when we were talking about Swindon, we were talking about how difficult it can be to prepare against a side who just appointed a manager. Is it a similar situation when they've got caretakers in charge?
I think it is, yeah. You know, listen, again, I've been in that situation as a caretaker manager at a couple of clubs, and you know, it's almost a free hit in a way, really. You know, you can express yourself, bring your ideas to the table, do what you think's right. Know that, yes, you're going to get judged, but probably not judged as much as you would if you were a permanent manager. So, you know, those things. It just becomes a really, really dangerous game because the expectations are is that we're going to win the game. It doesn't work like that. You know, I remember even just as close as this weekend speaking to Ryan Lowe after the game, and we were just talking about how, you know, if you're not at it every single game, you know, there's a great chance that you're going to lose the game. And sometimes you can perform as well as we did on Saturday and lose, and we know that. But if you're slightly below it in terms of your performance and the way you approach the game, more than likely you're going to lose it.
I mean, there is games galore in December, especially in the league as well. Do you feel like this is one of the more crucial months of the year with the amount of games you've got coming up?
Well, it is, because I think it gives you an indication. You know, obviously, after 4 or 5 games, you talk about a good start, and then after 10 games, it's like, oh yeah, no, we made a decent start. But I think if you get to like the new year and you're still sort of up there, all of a sudden that start becomes, well, actually it's not just a start, actually this has turned out to be a good season so far. So let's, you know, in 5 or 6 games time, once we get to the end of the month and we go into the new year, let's see where we're at. And the turn of the new year really is when it all happens, because, you know, we start entering the business end of the year.
With the amount of games and the amount of load going on to the players, do you have a predetermined plan in mind of how many minutes you want to spread across your players over the month, or do you take it on a game-by-game basis and have to wait until the following day after a game to see how everybody is?
Yeah, in hindsight, you kind of do both, really. In hindsight, so I think looking ahead, you kind of do both. I think if you knew, you know, that there was going to be no injuries, no suspensions, yes, you can plan and make sure you've got certain stuff ahead ready for the games. But I think it has to be game by game, and because, you know, we've got such a small squad as well. You know, that's one of the things going into most of the games I do wish for before the games even started, is that we come through the game, regardless of what happens in the game, we come through the game with no injuries.
And just finally on Joe Walsh, I know after the game he said he felt all right. Has he got through okay? Has he got through the weekend all right?
Yeah, it seems to have. Yeah. I mean, obviously we'll know a little bit more today, but he was a bit sore yesterday, but not in terms of, you know, the injury, just in general, because it's been a while. Hopefully he'll be fine today. I know he was in a good place after the game Saturday, because obviously he's been frustrated. So, you know, listen, if we keep Joe fit, it's only going to benefit us, but benefit all of us.
Lovely. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, Michael. Have you got a tough decision to make in terms of selecting your centre-backs, given that Joe Walsh is available now? You've got quite a few options back there.
Yeah, potentially. Well, that's a good thing. You know, we've had lots of games that we've just discussed. I'd certainly rather have options and tough decisions to make than than scratching around or looking to sort of play certain players out of position.
And how much do you think the lads who weren't involved on Saturday, likes of Liam Bridcut, Lewis Montsmer, I know George came on, but sort of last 20 minutes, will they benefit from that rest and hoping they'll be raring to go for tomorrow?
Hope so. Yeah, that was definitely the idea behind it. We know we've got a couple of really crucial games against, sides again that probably people are expecting us to win against. As you've just said there, it just doesn't happen that way. That's just not football. We've got to approach the game as if it's the most difficult game and the hardest game we've had so far this year. And I'm sure those lads will appreciate the little bit of a rest they got at the weekend. But starting tomorrow, the month looks a really, really busy one, and they're going to have lots and lots of games. So hopefully they've used that wisely.
I mean, it's fair to say you punched above your weight so far this season. You're kind of coming into a spell now where there's probably a bit more expectation on you. What do you think of that?
Good. Yeah, whatever. If there's expectation of us to do and stay where we are, fine. If we don't do it, I'm quite relaxed about that. I think I've said it. If I've not said it once, I've said it certainly a dozen times so far this year. We're way ahead in terms of positional. Where we are in the league to where I thought we would and expected us to be. Our performance levels have been good. We're a new group. This time next year, our performance levels and us as a group will be much stronger and better. And they expect us to be competing even more and better in games. But as it is, we've come together very, very quickly. The lads have took a lot of the stuff on board really, really quickly. They're enjoying themselves and we're in a good place.
And what are you expecting from Wigan in terms of style of play? Are they try and play? Are they quite direct? What are you expecting from them?
To be honest with you, a bit of a mixture. Yeah, a bit of a mixture, to be honest with you. So, I know they can change it up a little bit in terms of personnel and formation. So, I think certainly in the next two games, more than ever, the focus will really be on us and what we do. I expect us to have, certainly on Tuesday, to have more of the ball, but that could be very, very different. Again, it doesn't really mean you win the game. You only got to look at the weekend for that. At the end of the day, it's what you do with the ball, not how much of the ball you have. So, listen, we're gonna face a side that are going to be determined, have nothing to lose because of the situation in, and that's what makes them dangerous.